My hat! Alright, so I figured it out. I didn't realize this motor had two smaller holes there, and then these were larger, so I did not realize that because I was selecting them. So I have to play with these, those four. The other ones are for bigger ones. But, you know, that's alright. I figured it now so I can continue on. One thing I am going to mention is I got a little too excited and I started working on this, so I actually built this off camera. So the receiver is in. I just used double stick tape. This here, I added this tie strap, so it's not in the instructions, it's not included, but I ran it underneath that plastic plate, the plate where the ESC mounts, this one right here. So I ran the tie strap underneath it, and the reason why is my friend did not ask me to do this. I just decided to do it. He'll figure it out. But the reason why I decided to do it was because I jumped my SCTs really high up in the air, landed, and then the tape is usually not strong enough to hold the weight from the ESC after, you know, so many jumps. So after it popped off 2 times, I decided to just tie strap it, and I've never had an issue ever since. So I'd rather just do it. I'm sure he's fine with it. If not, he can always cut it off, but I'm sure he's not going to. It wouldn't make sense. But that being said, let me just neaten up the wires. So now we can actually go back to these pages before we deal with the motor. You're going to have these 2 pieces here. This is going to hold the wires in here. So you're going to have your servo wire as well as your ESC wire, and they will just go right in that little gap. So make sure that you place the wires carefully in that gap there, and then you place this tie to hold them down. I do not like running without this. Now I'm hoping I'm not going to have any clearance issues with this motor. It doesn't have the fins like Castle Creation does. Castle Creations, I just filed them down just a little and it worked. But this here, hopefully it doesn't hit. So that's the problem sometimes with putting big motors. But I don't see a problem. I think the motor mount is slightly different. By slightly, I mean, I think it's different than the SCT. So this one is meant for these larger motors, larger diameter motors. All right, so that being said, that is there. Sets perfectly. All right, so this is the ESC wire. This one's going to go into channel 2. Channel 2 is right here. And this one over here will go into channel 1. And that is it. Now I do not have the transmitter, so I'm not going to be able to power it on, but I will show you the final assembly. All right, we'll move that to make sure those are tucked in. Now here there's a rounded side and there's a square side. The square side goes toward the outside, and the rounded side goes toward the inside. Supposed to go in. Not sure what's keeping it from installing. There we go. All right. So now I need the 2 countersunk screws. Dropped one. Oh well. Yeah, once this is built, I almost feel like just putting it side by side with my Revo 3.3 just to see the difference. So I hope Tekno comes out with the Truggy, the Nitro Truggy. It's discontinued right now. You can get the Buggy, but not the Truggy. The reason why the Truggy is these arms are the same, or were the same, as the Truggy. So I figured if they have that Nitro Truggy, just fit some monster tires on there, put a monster truck body, just have a nitro monster truck. Because I do like this setup a lot more. The arms are more robust. You'll see the difference. Let's see, here we go. All right. Now we can go ahead and place this. So we need the antenna tube. Let me run the antenna through it. So there are two holes. The antenna tube goes on the larger one. Nice short tube. And then there's a smaller one right next to it, right in there. You can't really see it, but it's right next to it. That's where the set screw goes, and that's to hold the antenna tube. So that's what I'm installing right now. And I'm just installing it so that it is flush. That's all you need. And that'll keep the antenna tube in place. And now I can just close the receiver box. And it's these last three screws that will go here to close it up. And like I said, if ever you run a transponder, the transponder just screws onto the top of this box. That's what those three holes are for. So these three right here. If you have, for example, a MyLaps transponder, which is what I use. Not on my bashers, I don't put it on my bashers. But on one of my Teknos, when I've taken it out to the track, it just screws onto there. All right, there it is. All right, so the electronics are almost all there. Now for the motor. This was the part that kind of stumped me last time. That's why part of O is in the other video and part is here. Well, that and the fact that the other video got a little too long. Well, I thought it was a little too long. So let's see. So I can place it this way and then the wires will be going out. So at least they will not be close to the gear. Well, they wouldn't be close to the gear, the shaft. So if I place it here, right? Yeah, that would work. All right, so now I need the other one. There it is. All right. Nose, remember, do not over tighten. This is a 2.5. Yeah, snug is all you need. Let's go ahead and snug this one up. And then we'll do this one. All right. Let's see, this thing just slides right in. Perfect. All right, so we will connect these. I did not see an A, B, or C. The worst thing that can happen is if I connect them, if I make a mistake, what I mean by that is, let's just say this one goes here. Right, I'll just do that. Let's say this one, right, center to center. If it turns out this isn't the correct way, then we can just swap two of them. Just swap two of the wires and everything will be fine. All right, I have my pinion right here. I'm gonna give them a 19 tooth pinion. Try it out, see if it works with this setup. If not, we can always go bigger, go smaller later on. But I do have that one handy, so hopefully that works. I am just going to place the motor mount screws. So there's one that goes up top and there's one that goes on bottom. Just placing them in there. I'm not tightening them because I need to adjust the mesh shortly. And these are Mod 1 gears. Mod 1 gears are very easy to mesh compared to some of the other stuff. Well, maybe everything's, I guess once you get used to something, right? Some of you are probably watching this thinking, well, 64 pitch are pretty easy. All right, yeah, that's good. I mean, as long as you can see the gap, the mesh in them. All right, now this already has thread lock in here. So this is ready. Let's see which way is the shaft. Of course, it's facing down. I'll just do that. Alright, not working so much. Let me go ahead and loosen the glue. See if I get it in the right place. Yeah, there it goes. This would have been a lot easier if I had just placed it on the motor before doing this. But anyway, here we go. Got it. Okay, so now that I got it, I'm turning it. And I can go ahead and place this and tighten it right there. All right, and that's what this gap is for, really. It's just for your driver. Here we go. So now you can run if you grab some binder paper, you can just fold it in half and send it through there, or you can just eyeball it. You just kind of look through there. And I can't really see without sticking my head in the camera. But what I'm doing to set the mesh is I'm actually just listening for it. And that should be good. Let's go ahead and tighten the top one. It's a 2.5. And after I tighten, I'm going to check it. Now when you tighten this top one, the motor mount generally wants to walk out. That's why you have to be careful. And I applied too much pressure there to try to prevent it from walking out. So let's go ahead and release. Oh, it's too much. There. Perfect. All right. I'm not sure if you can pick up the sound. Should sound a little like that. If you over tighten the gears and you don't set the mesh properly, you're just going to destroy the spur. Spur is plastic. It's a nylon material. I believe it's a nylon material. Could be wrong. And the pinion is metal, so the pinion will just eat up your spur and it just melts. That has happened to me before. Not on the Tekno, on a different vehicle. Actually, it was on my TRX4. Replaced the motor, didn't set the mesh properly. Then again, it's the motor mount. That was, I couldn't find the correct diagram, but anyway, eventually figured it out after I destroyed one spur. But there we go, so we have that. Now, what we have to do is we have the motor, everything is in here. This is awesome. I'll figure out where to mount the switch later on. I'm thinking of just taping it here to the side, but maybe I'll find a different place. Maybe I'll mount it up here. So I haven't decided where I want this switch. I'll figure it out a little later. Right now, I'm just gonna move all of these items there, and those are for the steering. Yeah, I got his manual dirty. Oops. Hopefully he doesn't open to that page. Hopefully, well, he's going to watch this video. So I'm in trouble either way. Alright, so I'm going to put these little barrels in here, and this is the part that we're doing. And again, just grab the pliers, just like we did with all the turnbuckles. We're just placing it and then putting it in. These pliers here, I actually like them. These are Husky, they're really inexpensive. The only problem with Husky tools is the metal turns color almost instantly. If they used a better material, I mean, there's a little bit of surface rust. I almost feel like I have to oil them. But they were inexpensive and they work well. I like the design. All right, so based on this, it should be about a 1mm gap, which is pretty much what I have. But I have to straighten these out. So let's use this. I want them to be straight. Let's see, if I go there. Perfect. All right, here we go. So we have the link. And now to install the servo horn. Now, I don't have any connectors. Dean's plug or something that I can use here, unfortunately. So I'm not going to be able to run power, but usually what you want to do is you want to run power to the servo. I could have disconnected and connected another ESC, but I didn't do that either. But generally you want to run power, make sure this is neutral before you install the servo horn and do everything. So I'm going to go ahead and do the installation, but later on, once I deliver the truck, we're going to have to put some batteries on there and adjust the servo, I'm sure. I doubt it's in a neutral position. It could be, you never know. But I'm going to expect to have to adjust that later. All right, so here's the servo horn. Now the servo horn, we're actually using the aluminum servo horn by Tekno, and this is what you should be using. Do not use those plastic ones that are included. I do not remember the cost, say it's another maybe $25, $25. Part number is TKR 6563A. Not really sure there. Well, it's a little blurry, it's not really focusing. But that's the servo horn that you want. All right, that being said, something else, do this first. And the reason why, let's see. So there's two ways this can go. This can go this way or this way. I'm looking at this image. It's going to go, this flat part's going to be the bottom. So this will go downward toward the servo. It'll be somewhat here, but it'll be at an angle. Just like that. Actually, that is perfect. That's the angle it's supposed to be in. But I need to drive that screw in first. And that may be a problem. I wonder if I install it this way. I may have to install it this way. Let's see, how would this fit? Not so good. So I'm just going to use a shorter screw and just screw it from the top. So I'm not going to be using this because I'm not using the plastic one. I'm actually going to screw a screw right from here down to there. So I'm going to have to see what screw to use for that. That's going to be really the important thing to do. And this arm will go over here. So one thing that I can do right now is I can work with this one. Now this here, the nut actually goes in there. This is keyed in. So when I put one of these nuts, I just need to make sure that I hold it in there. So when I tighten the screw, and I'm going to use this one, the nut doesn't fall out. So this will just go in. I'm not sure if you can see the pocket. There's a little pocket in here, in there. There you can see it. Right, so that's where the nut goes. Now make sure that the nylon is downward on the truck, therefore it's facing out. You don't want to put it on backwards. And I'm going to use a driver here to set it properly. All right, so if I go there. All right, here we go. So it's a little bit of a challenge to get it to fit right. All right, good. Oops. Great. So now I can grab this. I'm going to run this through here. I'm going to grab one of those washers that just accidentally pushed through the page. Great. There. And place the washer here. And then once I do that, I'm holding it like this on purpose so that I don't lose the nut. There. If I can hold it. Yeah, it's a little difficult, I'll be honest, doing this without sticking my head under the camera. Perfect. All right, let's see if I can face it now on the camera. So if you see this here, you're just going to see the nut get pulled by the screw. Let me readjust. There, so you can see how it's moved upward. Upward being my left. Right, do not over tighten this. All right. So now we have this here, and all right, this servo horn goes here. All right. That is where it's supposed to go. This goes here. So I'll need a screw that goes in there. And I have these. Now, because I'm not going to be installing this, I am going to use the washer, but I'm not going to be using the nut, and I'm not going to be using this long screw there. And it's too long for me to use here. So I will be grabbing another screw that's a shorter screw. Here, okay. So this one is probably too short. Yeah, that one's too short, so I'm not going to be able to use that one either. Well, I could use that on the servo right in here. But that's what screws are for. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. If you do use the aluminum servo horn, you will need a different screw. Now let's see how I use. Is this too long or is this good? Now there's already some thread lock compound. Let me go ahead and drive it through. I think it might be fine. Yeah, this is fine. All right, now that that is there, it's 2.5 as well. Yes, but I'm actually going to take this one out. I don't know if there's thread lock compound, and there is not. All right. Good thing it checked. Not that far. It's funny, once you get close to the end, you just get kind of anxious sometimes to finish. It's the excitement. Alright, so that is clamped on. That is perfect. Alright, good. Now I just need a screw that's the correct length so it doesn't go beyond that point, and I'm thinking it may be one of these. Yes. This would be, that's the correct length. And that will work with the washer. So here we go. So I'm going to give that back to him. Alright, let's go ahead and put some thread lock. Good. And I'm just going to slide this in. Let's see, maybe put some excess right on it. Alright, perfect. And right here we go. There it is. So I'm going to show you the final product for now. All right. And that looks good. I'm going to have to adjust these turnbuckles. All right, good. So we have the steering, everything's finished here. So now what I have to do is go on to P, and P is my last bag. So we are almost there. Now the body, it's too late for me to paint, so it's too cold outside, but the body I will be painting tomorrow. I am using Tamiya PS3, which is a blue. It's a light blue color. It's a blue color very similar to this blue tape. All right, so we have that. All right. Now these nuts are just 17 millimeters. So if you have you don't need to buy any extra tools if you already have tools. If you have a 17 millimeter socket, just use that. That works. Now here for the body post, I do have the body. The body is more of a flat body, which is right over here. So this is the truck body, and these are pretty flat. And because they are quite flat, I'm going to be picking these. We'll be using this one, this one. Ooh, this is a tough one. Alright, so I'm definitely going to be using these. And I'll probably end up using these here. Well, let's compare. That's going to be a tough one. I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and place these. I'm not going to tighten them all the way until I have the body. Once I have the body painted up and ready to go, then I'll select them. But more than likely it's going to be these. So these here at an angle, these are the front ones. So these go in the front. And I'm just going to place the screw in there, but again, I'm not going to drive it all the way in until I'm ready to set the body. So I'm just going to drive it in enough for it to thread and for it to not fall out. These are it, and these are adjustable, which is another nice thing you get. And these posts are surprisingly strong. And I say that because I don't know how many times I've landed on the body, so the roof instead of the wheels, and I haven't broken one yet. I've bent them, then I just sort of bend them back. I'm sure at some point they'll end up breaking, or at least on my truck. But considering the royal beating they take, well, I just don't get beaten. Well, then it's quite impressive. Why am I not getting it? Why is this not threading? That's what I want to know. All right. Right. Let me pre-thread this. Can't understand why it's not going in. This is strange. Certainly cannot figure out why. Maybe if I thread from back going forward. If it's threading in this way. Alright, since the screw comes down, I know I'm good. Alright, there it goes. Let's back it back up. All right, now let's see the rear ones. Yeah, these aren't really made for flat bodies, but it's all right. We'll make do. So once you have your body, you can adjust them and make them work. The shock's in the way. It's all right. There. All right, let's got that one. And let's go to this one. We'll do the same thing. Perfect. All right, it's good enough. And if it's backwards, but not a big deal, I'll flip it once I have the body. The body clips for Teknos, they're very, very strong. These are quite thick. You can still bend them. I have bent a few. They do not bend as easily as some of the brands out there, because these things are made for durability. They're made to last. Here we go. So we are almost there. Now I just need to put the wheels on, and I really do hope these wheels fit, because it's gonna look so awesome with these enormous things. So if you watch the video, I think it was the unboxing where I showed that these were gonna be installed, the short course tire almost fits here. So we will see. All right, well that seems to work. And I'm not going to tighten them fully right now, I'll tighten them later, mainly because I don't have my 17 on me. But there we go. And when you install these tires, all of these tires are directional. Just make sure that the chevrons are pointing forward. So if you look at these little chevrons, they should be pointing forward. Alright. Wow, this thing looks awesome. Alright. With these nuts, make sure that the serrated portion goes toward the wheel. That's what's going to lock them in place. So if you didn't see me use thread lock, that's the reason why. You actually do not need thread lock. If you want to use some, I guess go for it. Why not? But you do not need any. So other than that, this is the truck for now. I have to work on the body, and then I will have a video of the final build. There are some adjustments, as you can see, that I have to do, mainly to these links here. Man, I have to adjust a whole bunch of stuff. I have to adjust the toe, and I have to adjust the camber, because the camber's way off. And I just realized the truck doesn't fit in the camera. So let me try to move it here. These are monstrous tires. Here, let me move this. This just looks awesome. As you can see, I need to adjust the toe. These look amazing. I just love the way they look. Yeah, they don't really fit in the camera. Maybe I can just manually move the camera. Let me try it. Yeah, kind of. Right. Awesome. See, this looks great. Ignore the VHSs in the background. All right. So other than that, I had a great time building this. Like I said, I love building Tekno vehicles. The manuals are very straightforward. The only hiccup really that I ran into was with the motor, because I didn't realize two of the holes were bigger, so those screws weren't fitting in, but then I figured it out. And the other thing too is this ESC is actually a little too wide. I don't think I mentioned it, but I actually removed just a little bit of material off of the ESC, off the front. It had those two little protruding pieces of plastic, so I just used a file, just filed away a little bit of material. But everything fits in here. It's pretty neat. Once I have the body, actually the wires will probably sit there. Then I'll take I'll do a final recording of this truck here. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one once the body is on. Have a good one. Be good.